Day 12. Let's dig into day 12. Got to go deep to go far, all right? It's foundational in distance athletic events. You have to put in the training in order to build up the endurance over time to accomplish long races. It takes time and effort for a great length of time to get ready. I have a 90-day plan, for instance, that I use for training for half marathons, and that's also based on starting with a solid level of physical fitness on the day one of day 90 and not just getting off the couch on that day, all right? So for me, training is a combination of building up endurance, building strength, and slowly working to increase speed. It's a lot of work in the background over weeks and months that all comes together to enable me to be prepared on race day. If my base training is not thorough, I'm going to suffer in the later parts of a race. It's really the same if you translate it over to our lives. If we haven't developed some depth to our character and our faith, we're going to not have the strength to stand strong when trials come. How deep do you go? Can you withstand storms that come? They're going to come in the form of conflicts, unhappy customers, family problems, medical conditions, and more. How deep do you go? Problems and issues will come, and we will be impacted by them. The key is that these do not have to, quote, shake us. They can stir us, which is normal, but as we mature in our faith walk and trust in the Lord through the promises in the Bible and a close daily walk with the Lord, we can have a settledness and a calm and a confidence within us in the midst of what we're going through because we've developed deep roots and we've done the training. We really have two options. Each time the trial situation comes up, will we react and be shaken, doing something drastic and getting emotionally caught up in the drama? Or will we seek Jesus, seek to trust him, get his perspective on the situation? Each time, the choice is ours. Choices come from our depth of character and spiritual maturity, forged over time, studying the Bible, going deeper as followers of Christ. The Bible is clear, as Jesus outlines, that he wants his people to have depth, like a house with a deeply dug foundation made of concrete. When the storms come, the house obviously encountered the effects of that. It was not moved. It was not removed from the storm, but in the midst, the house stood firm and was not shaken. Again, there wasn't an absence of storms, but there was a steadiness, a strength in the midst of those storms. There are a lot of shaky foundations out there, and we can be a positive beacon and model strength in the midst of trouble. We can be a light that draws people to Jesus by being a strong foundation. How do we grow in this area? Daily time learning the truths of the Bible by spending time communicating with Christ. This can be through prayer, through journaling, through worship, through study, through calming and getting perspective, his perspective, kingdom perspective on our situation. All right, let's dive into the actionables. Go deep to go far. Actionables. Number one, how would those close to you rate your depth, ability to stand strong and be okay in the midst of trials and troubles? On a 1, knocked around easily, to a 10, strong and solid. What would those close to you say about you? Take some time to think about that. Number 2, also take some time to reflect on your current foundation in the midst of your recent storms. What have you seen in yourself? Do you show evidence of a deep faith that can withstand trials, or did you get knocked around? Write the experiences down, how you handled them as well. Now, on to the practical challenge. Oftentimes we read verses of the Bible, like I want to share with you here, but do not take the time to really read the Bible. Take time to read the Gospel of John this week, all of it. Then move on to Matthew next week, then Mark, and then Luke. We're going to read the Gospels. We're going to read about what Jesus' life from the perspectives of each of these guys in these books. So day 12, let's start here. Bible reading. Matthew 7:24-29. Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rains came, the streams rose, the winds blew, and they beat against that house. Yet it did not fall, because it had its foundation on the rock. But everyone who hears these words of mine and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house on sand. The rain came, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell with a great crash. When Jesus had finished saying these things, the crowds were amazed at his teaching, because he's taught as one who had authority and not as their teachers of the law. Final word to you. We really have two options each time a trial comes up: react and be shaken, or choose to seek Jesus, trust him, and know he has a plan. Go deep to go far. See you tomorrow.